Alright, so let's start by squaring. So remember, we need to square both pieces. So if I square the 5, what am I going to get? 25. And then if I square the e to the third, what do I get? E to the 6. So this is one where we need to multiply exponents. So that could be a note to write yourself. Or whatever note would be helpful. So you actually square the coefficient and then you multiply your exponents. So that could be another note. Square the coefficient. And then multiply exponents. All right, part B. What should I do?
You should,
Do you subtract the 3 and 6?
No. This is a multiply.
But then you can add the x.
So let's start with the 3 and the 6. What should we do with those numbers? Truly multiply them, right? So 3 times 6 is, and if you don't know, consult your calculator. 18. E to the, what do I do with my exponents? Add them. 7. Add exponents in this case. So again, write yourself a note though. Add exponents for this one, and we multiplied coefficients. So added the exponents, multiplied the coefficients. What do we do for part C?
You gotta subtract those.
Yeah, you subtract for this
So it'll
one.
be E5.
E5. So again, you can write yourself a note, subtract exponents. So again, if you think you're going to look back at this tomorrow or down the road and not really remember, like, how did I get e to the 5th, then write yourself a note. Okay. Let's try the next two. I'm going to pause my video. Let's try the next two without me. All right. So number 2, do we have a graph that looks like this? Maybe you didn't pick the exact same points I picked, but your graph looks like mine. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Your asymptote lives at y equals 0, which means that your range is values bigger than 0. And our domain, because it's going to stretch out and hit everything, is all real numbers. Again, these don't have to be the same numbers you picked. There are infinitely many points. So we are not going to play the game of, like, pick the same points I picked.
Yeah. As long as one is correct.
Right. It'd be like pick a number between 0 and infinity. That'd be the same game, right? Because there are infinitely many points. So that's not a winnable sort of game. Okay. We ready for 3? Go back to 2? Yep. We're good with 2? Okay. And then here's 3. So remember that our asymptote is usually at 0, unless there's something being added or subtracted at the end. So here we have a +1, so our graph shifts up 1. And then these were the numbers I picked. You could have picked different numbers. These do not have to be your numbers. But the domain, range, and asymptote should match. So the domain should be all real numbers again, because it spans left and right and hits everything. The asymptote is at +1. And then my graph stays bigger than that. Good?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's flip to the back when you're ready. This one you do need a calculator for. If anybody need one, I've got a bonus one right here. Sorry. Otherwise I would have brought it. Bring you all calculators. Oh, I got one more. Hold on, Ava. Oh. Walk back. There you go. All right. So go to the back. So we have, oh, there aren't even names. It's not Susie, it's not Billy, it's no one at this point. Good morning. So we have an initial investment of 2,500 that grows continuously. So should I use the equation with P
No.
and E, or should I use the equation without the E? P and E. Sorry. You knew what I was actually thinking. I think you read my mind for a second because I was thinking about the other equation at first. All right, so what?
So now we're doing the back.
Now we're doing the back, yeah. Oh, whoops. Don't write that. I was starting to do the first one.
I've been like that.
Okay. Well, no, I said we were going to do the back. I just told you you didn't have to do it on your own. So there's my initial. Here's E. What am I going to put in for R? R.
The rate, the
Point.
number, the point, yes.
0,
2,
5 times
11.
11. So I'm going to write the equation up here so I have the general form of the equation. And I always thought of Pert Plus shampoo was always what I thought of when I did this problem. It was a big deal back in the day. It was like, oh my goodness, shampoo and conditioner all in one.
Yo, that's
Kind of a big, it was kind of a big thing back in the day.
I use 8 and 1.
Oh,
8 and 1, hold up.
You use 18, I use 12.
See?
You gotta have a mouthwash
in there too.
Right.
All right, here we go. So we have 2,500 E for our number friend E, and because we're using the continuously compounded, 2BR times P. Again, how do I know to use this formula? It's because I have continuously compounded. Yes. Hi. Okay, so I typed it in. I'm going to hit enter. How many places should I put after my decimal? Should. 2, right? Think about how you interact with money. We have 2 spots after the decimal. I'm going to round up. Again, this isn't the hill I'm going to die on. If you leave it as 3-2, that's fine. If you're like, they aren't going to round up, it's a bank. That's fine. I will take that argument. But if you're like, no, I think they'd round up, it'll be 3-3. Again, that's not an argument I'm going to deal with. So if you leave it at 3-2, it's fine. If you leave it at 3-3, it's fine.
Wait, so we can leave it at, you're talking about the 33 or the full number?
So we need all of this.
Mhm.
I'm talking about this bit at the end.
Oh,
It could have been
okay.
0.32 or it could have been 0.33.
Okay.
Okay, what goes out front for number 5?
10,000.
Yeah, I must have gotten bored of making up names, you guys. There are no names. Grows continuously. So again, we need this formula again because of the continuously word. What's my R?
0.015.
0.015 times what?
8.
8. So 10,000. Second ln to get your E, 0.015 times 8. So I get 11,274.97. I rounded up. Another thing that could be good, since we have a quiz tomorrow, which is why we're doing the review, another good thing to write yourself as a note is to remember to move the decimal 2 spots to the left. For your percent. Okay? So that could be a little note to write yourself because there's something about quizzes and tests that kind of change us and we don't focus as much as we normally do and we forget little things, right? There's that little bit of anxiety that goes into quizzes and tests and so sometimes we forget that we need to move that decimal over. All right, I'm going to flip it back over. Angela, I need you to check your graph. So I'm going to zoom out on that so you can look at your graphs and make sure that they match mine.